Good morning, facilitators. God bless you by way of technology on this Saturday morning, March 18th. I'm giving you this video because yesterday on Friday I had a minor surgery and couldn't quite make it out of the house to be with you in person this morning. But I'm very appreciative for your thoughts and prayers, and I hope to see you very soon. But I wanted to get in front of you to give you some information regarding next steps for our small group ministry. And again, thank each of you so much for your commitment, dedication over the last several months for prepping for our small group facilitator ministry, and also the classes, the groups that have been meeting. I've had a chance, and others have as well, to sit in on many classes. And just the love, the fellowship, the joy, the expressions of support for people who are going through a variety of topics. It's just so uplifting to see this vision come to reality. And I want to thank each of you for your participation, for your commitment, for your love, for your sacrifices to make our small group ministry a success for the first part of 2017. But as you very well know, our work is not yet complete. Quite a bit of work to do. You might remember as we started off our small group ministry, we had a pretty broad vision of having every member engaged in small group ministry. That's over 900 of our members involved, actively participating in small group ministry, with about 35 to 40 small group facilitators. So we're a little bit less than halfway there, but I am believing God to get us over the finish line by the end of this year. So I want to give you an overview of our next steps regarding our small group series. Many of you know by now, of course, that our previous series, My Walk with God, Holiness, where we examine a variety of topics to help us better understand what God requires of us, what it means to be holy, what it means to be devoted to God, what it means to sacrificially give ourselves to Him. And perhaps one of the more powerful lessons, although they were all quite powerful, but one of the more powerful lessons to me was this whole idea of God restoring us, bringing us back into relationship with Him. I'm sure you will agree with me that there have been times in my own spiritual journey where I've fallen quite short, but I'm so glad God restores us and brings us back into loving relationship with Him. Beginning on April 3rd, which is a Monday, beginning on April 3rd, we'll be starting a new series under this theme, I Want to Get Right. That's my testimony. I'm hoping that it's yours. I want to get right. I want to thank the core group, particularly Carlisha Davis and her just creative mind and the way she just kind of hooks things up. But she's responsible for this theme, I want to get right. She gets all the credit or she gets all the blame, but I want to get right is a great theme that I believe summarizes what each of us ought to do fresh off the heels of being made known to our hearts what God requires of us with regard to holiness, what God requires of us in a walk with Him. It requires us to make a commitment to get right. And so beginning on April 3rd, this is our theme, I Want to Get Right. And we'll be studying this book written by Dr. Gregory Ballard, which, by the way, is a fraternity brother of mine, Phi Beta Sigma Incorporated, Go Mob. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to get that in. But Dr. Gregory Ballard, he preached at our church back in late February 2017, within the last few weeks or so. He preached, did an outstanding job, made 3 of his books available for us to purchase. And after myself, Pastor Lynch, and many of us have read his book, just so taken by the content of his book and the message to the church. And so we believe it's something that we all can benefit from and rejoice from. So Behave How to Act in Church will be the text that we'll be sharing our small group ministry for the next several months. Okay, so starting in April and ending in June, this would be our small group ministry text. Okay, So when you get this book, will be made available for all of the members for a total of $5. Okay, facilitators, we're giving you this book, but members are being asked to purchase this book for $5. And this book, pretty a very user-friendly book, not too deep theologically at all, but some very practical, real-life steps and methods on how you and I can have a much better experience in community life in the church. So I'm going to kind of go over this book and give you some insights and how I believe we ought to best move forward. So when you get this book, How to Behave in Church, and as you can imagine what the title says alone, it's a book of etiquette, how to behave, what to do, what not to do, how we ought to engage with one another. And so when you get this book and open into the table of contents, you'll see that it's written into 3 major sections, okay? One is membership etiquette, pastoral etiquette. Yeah, even pastors need to be taught how to behave in church. Also, visitor etiquette. So membership etiquette, pastoral etiquette, and visitor etiquette. 3 major sections in this book. However, I'd like for our small group ministry to focus primarily on the membership etiquette. Okay, membership etiquette. And when you open up the table of contents, you'll see 19 entries or 19 topics that he discusses on how members ought to engage with one another, how we ought to engage in church life in this book. So 19 topics. And what I am asking is that we would choose, and each small group can choose any 12 that they want. But it's a 12-week series beginning in April, ending in June, under this theme, I Want to Get Right, using as the backdrop this book, How to Behave, How to Act in Church. And again, we're studying just the first section of the book, Membership Etiquette. And in this first section on membership etiquette, many of the topics are topics that our church, our people desperately need to hear. We need to, the very first lesson blows me away on accountability. Certainly after the series, My Walk with God, understanding accountability. I mean, I want somebody to come into my inner circle, my holy of holies, and check me when I'm wrong. Help me to be held accountable to the truths, the behavior that I know I ought to be doing. Sometimes I don't do what I know, but I ought to, and ought to be challenged to do the right thing. And so this book, in a very succinct way, once you open up the book and you see his writing, it's not too long, really not too deep, but surely powerful. Or I'd say, when I say not too deep, I'm meaning he's not using some lofty theological words, not some heavy philosophical thought, but some real life, practical words helping us to better understand what does it mean to be held accountable, and in a very real way explains to us why we need to be held accountable. I need to be held accountable. You need to be held accountable. And we ought to have those special people in our lives that helps us be accountable to each other and be accountable to God in our walk with Him. So in this book, regarding accountability, commitment, financially supporting your church, how to be more reverent in worship. One of our challenges, of course, is being reverent. We have a church sanctuary that's used in a variety of different ways. And sometimes we may be in the sanctuary space much more casually during the week for another event. And then on Sunday morning, it's sacred space used for worship. And so I'm not convinced people make that transition as smoothly as they can. And so I believe this material will do a great job helping us, bringing to our awareness how we ought to be more reverent in the worship experience, okay? So you got 19 sessions in this first section. I'm asking you to pick any 12. It's a 12-week series of lessons. And what I'm going to be doing for you, what I think we ought to be doing, is I'm going to give you 5 questions. Okay, 5 questions, 5 thought-provoking questions, 5 questions that may stimulate some discussion about the theme, the topic. And let me give you what these 5 questions are. You can write them down, but I'll also provide them for you in writing, okay? And you can use these same 5 questions as the blueprint for the discussion every week that you have your small group sessions. First question is, what scripture references support your thoughts? So when we're asking people to engage the material, to read it, we want them to come to class already having some scripture references to support the practical application that Dr. Ballard speaks of in his book. The second question is, how is this topic effective in your church? How is this topic effective in your church? Accountability, commitment, whatever the topics may be, no walking during prayer, as I mentioned earlier, being reverent in the sanctuary, and so many topics. But one thought-provoking question is, how is this effective in your church? A third question is, what changes in your life are you willing to make based upon this topic, okay? What changes in your life are you willing to make? The fourth question is, how does this teaching help or hinder someone's relationship with Jesus Christ? I think this might be a great topic to really delve deeper and deeper into those thoughts, to get us to better understand. At the end of the day, we are all missionaries. In fact, one of the topics that Dr. Ballard speaks of is this whole notion how you and I ought to be missional. That is, we're not just saved to sit. We're not saved to sit. We're saved to serve. We're saved to launch out. We're saved to engage. And so the question that I'm focusing on, number 4, is challenges us to think beyond just me, myself, and I, just us 4 in these 4 walls. But how does this help or hinder someone developing a relationship with Jesus Christ? And then 5th and final question is, at the end of the day, why do you think this topic is important? Okay, why do you think this topic is important? And so those are 5 questions. They're 5 basic questions. You can deal with all of them, deal with none of them. I simply give these to you as a way of stimulating your thought, hoping that you'll have an enriching, engaging experience in your small group study. Okay, so today is Saturday, March 18th. You'll have these books. There's another video being shown to the church tomorrow, Sunday, March 19th, letting them know that these books are available for purchase immediately following worship service. Many members purchased these books from Dr. Ballard when he was in town a few weeks ago. Many members, of course, did not. And so we're making them available for $5 for all the members. And so we're asking that facilitators will be available for both services, some at the 8 o'clock service, some at the 11 o'clock service, to accommodate sign-ups as well as to accommodate purchases of this book. Again, God bless you. Look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. I'm giving you this 15-minute video, and I'm hoping that this was helpful for you as you prepare for next steps. Look forward to seeing you very soon. Feel free to call me, text me, or email me if you have any questions. God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. And this is Pastor Jay Will signing out. Peace.